want to thank you all for joining the Holy Hermetic Heterodox Heresies, Ostara Sabbat, at Templum Caritate. I'd like to begin by intoning the Hermetic hypothesis. We are the inheritors of the Gnostic current as revealed to the seventh generation of Adam Kadmon in the Enochian Covenant, a recognized people of the book as affirmed by the courts of the Abbasid Caliphate. We honor the 7 Noahide laws of the righteous Gentiles and keep the golden axiom, to do good is only second. First, do no harm. We preserve and protect the dwindling light of the mysteries and the cultus near extinguished at the close of antiquity. Our messenger is the dual god Thoth Hermes, called Hermes Trismegistus, known as Indrus, honored as Enoch, who ascended is Metatron, first called Logos and Son of Man. We perceive Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus as the rightful heir to the Olympian throne, as prophesied by the primordial Gaia regarding the line of Titanic Metis. We likewise honor Metis's daughter, Pallas Athena Minerva, as Sophia to his Logos. We recognize the doctrine of metempsychosis, affirming the transmigration of souls, and acknowledge the unity of all as stated in the formula of the Emerald Tablet, as above, so below. I praise Estre, goddess of the dawn, rising mighty in the east, you bless us. I praise Estre, goddess of the fertile fields, with victory and fruitful luck you nourish us. I praise Estre, goddess of new beginnings, with strength and resilience you fortify us. Shine your light upon us, holy goddess. Make our words and deeds mighty in your eyes. Replenish us daily with your light. We hail you, gracious goddess of the dawn. We hail you, Estra, after whom spring itself is named. Please make us fruitful. Hail. Even from above the sky's bright realm come, Ushas, by auspicious ways. Let red steeds bear thee to the house of him who pours the soma juice. The chariot which thou mountest, fair of shape, O Ushas, light the move. Therewith, O daughter of the sky, aid men of noble fame today. Bright Ushas, when thy times return, all quadrupeds and bipeds stir, and round about flock winged birds from all the boundaries of heaven. Thou dawning with thy beams of lightest illume all the radiant realm. Thee, as thou art the canvas, fain for wealth have called the sacred songs. Saffron-cloaked Eos, goddess of day's dawning, in darkness you wake each morn. With rosy fingers you unbar the gates of heaven. Daybreaker, daybringer, well-crowned goddess of first light. At ocean's edge you dwell, with gentle hand you drive your chariot of gold, exultant your heart with pride and joy in the shining main steeds that draw it. Golden-armed Eos, mother of the four winds, mother of the dawn star, mother of the evening star. Glorious is your spirit, beautiful your form. Your arrival inspires awe in all who greet the sun. I praise your beauty and honor your might. I call to Abnoba of the wilderness, your bow at the ready, your well-honed shafts in hand. Keen of eye you are, goddess, and fleet of foot. Your nerve never falters, your aim never errs. Abnoba, who we see in the shift of shadows, whose breath we feel on the back of the neck. We hear you in the cry of the hawk, the bay of the wolf. We know you are the tangled wood, the cold water stream, the sweet scent of fallen leaves in decay. The madness of the hunt is yours, O goddess, the pounding heart of predator and prey. Abnoba of the shining eyes, I honor you. I think about today's festivities, and I'm reminded of a word that comes to us from Latin, lacuna. It means hole, and you might be familiar with it, whether from the so-named tiny holes in your bones, or from missing sections of ancient manuscripts. themselves the result of a hole in the parchment or papyrus. You might even be aware of the phenomenon of lacunal amnesia, wherein a sufferer loses only the recollection of particular events, but not the entire memory. Now, why does today's celebration of the vernal equinox make me think of the Latin word for moons? Today's Sabbat is named Ostara, a name derived from Old High German for a goddess of the dawn and spring, long since forgotten, barely attested in an occasional inscription or place name. And most obviously in the Northern European naming conventions for Christianity's most important feast day. In most of the Christian world, the spring celebration of Jesus' defiance of death is called Pascha, from the Jewish Passover, Pesach. Only in the Germanic North is it known by various colloquial renditions of Easter. And we only know why this is due to a single passage from an 8th century Benedictine monk known as the Venerable Bede, who explains why his countrymen insist on calling Easter by that name. He is either unwilling or unable to tell us more about the goddess, beyond that her feast day coincided with the Christian. For what little more we know of Estré, or as the Germans called her Ostara, the surviving Norse lore, our best picture of Germanic pagan religion, we find little to nothing of Ostara. Either her cult died out or was subsumed by another figure of the myths, possibly Freya, in her aspect as fertility goddess. Again, due to lacuna, we simply do not know. What we do know is more from inference and reconstruction based on linguistics and folklore, as developed by Jacob Grimm of fairy tale fame. In his 1835 manuscript, Deutsche Mythologie, Grimm described a goddess of flowers, spring, and the dawn based on place names and a reconstruction of the Proto-Germanic language. Further pursuit of the original Proto-Indo-European language finds a similar figure whose name resembled those discussed so far, and which also gives us goddesses of the dawn such as Eos and Ushas in Greek and Indian mythology respectively. A similar goddess amongst the Belgae Celts, Abdoba, is attested in some inscriptions, but because of associations with hunting, she became syncretized to the moon goddess Diana under Roman rule. Unlike our neighbors, ours is not a vibrant living faith, rich with practices and prayers. Instead, we find ourselves much like a paleontologist, restricted in large part to fossils, not even of the lacuna-riddled bones, but impression fossils, the holes left by the absence thereof. We are desperately trying to rebuild a faith from scraps and obvious absences. It can be a challenging, deep dig. Even amidst the seeming plenty of the Greco-Roman myths, we find irrecoverable lacuna, also poignant today. The vernal equinox was commemorated as the lesser Eleusinian mystery, but the practices and teachings of the cult are lost to us. Despite the wealth of mythology surrounding it that survives, we know that it celebrated the return of Persephone from Hades and Ceres' subsequent restoration of the growing things. But of the things seen, said, done at these sacred rites, we can barely speculate. We have hints of revelry and possibly psychedelic revelation brought on by a beverage brewed of ergot spoiled barley. Hippolytus tells us it all culminated in the presentation of a single head of a grain stalk, beheld in awed, hushed silence. But this is as close as we might get. But I remain resolute in my determination, at my self-appointment as preserver, reconstructor, reimaginer. These may be less worn paths, in places washed out and a bit overgrown, but they still lead to the top of the mountain, and I'm up for the hike, and I sincerely hope you will join me. Blessed Estré of beady recollection and grim reconstruction, we may but barely hear your distant name, but still we honor thee all the same. Join me now in the Eleusinian Eucharist. Eat from the fruit of the living tree, rooted deep, drinking lethe waters, and know that by it you are bound to death. 3 are the fruit for the 3 faces of Hecate, she of the 3 ways, who keeps her vigil, 3 times 3 times 3, for the 3 months of dread winter, 3 for the heads of Kerberos. Drink, drink of the sacred kykeon, brewed from the winnowed seed of Ceres, not only dead, but decayed in the making. Drink of it, and know that by it you rise, like the bursting seed, into the light of endless rebirths. Amet, so mote it be. I want to thank you guys all for joining us today. And I want to remind you to wear your mask, be kind to one another, get your vaccine, and God's willing, we'll all see each other again soon. Blessings upon you all.